Hello friends, today I am talking about the major causes of the revolt of 1857. The first is economic causes. I will explain it later. East India Company destroyed the traditional economy fabric of Indian society. And second is they increased taxation on peasant. Peasant mean the small and poor farmers. And when the taxation were increased, they sell their lands to the money lenders and traders. Thus, money lenders and traders emerged as the new landlord, majority to the artisan and handicraft people. I want to explain it. Before the Britisher, the king has, the king had, court poet, court artisan, and they were patronized by the king. And this is the important one. You have to focus on it. Uh, East India Company destroyed Indian handicraft and promoted British good. So it resulted in huge number of unemployment. Mercantile, uh, you know, increased tariff duties on Indian made goods, import of British goods at low tariff, and there were no industries because East India Company destroyed each and every industry, and the workers had to go to their homeland, and there were increased pressure on agriculture and land. I want to explain one more peculiar topic: one free or one way tariff. What is it? It is, British just purchase raw material at a cheap cost, and there were, a very small number of import duty on the Indian raw material, and they made a finished good in Britain, and further they sell it uh, to the Indian people, and where they are exporting it, there were very few uh, tariff on it. Now the second one is political cause. Policies like effective control. It is control. The states were effectively controlled by the British government, and subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. You have to read about it, or I will post it in the another video. Administrative causes. Rampant corruption in the company, you know uh, in lower court, and through the petty officials. So corruption, there were rampant corruption during the British tenure. Social religious causes. Christian missionaries, what they were doing, they were converting Hindu or Muslim to their own religion. Abolition of sati, it's a good step, but Indian thought that it is intrusion in our religion. Support to the widow remarriage, it is also a good step taken by the British or East India Company, but it is a further Indian thought that they were intruding on a religious aspect. Women education, that was a good step, but the tax mosque and the temple lands. So both the Muslims and the Hindus were against the British, and after all, there is a Religious Disabilities Act 1857, which modify Hindu custom, declaring that a change of religion did not debar a son from inheriting the property of his heathen father. You do not understand anything from it. It simple say that if a Hindu or Muslim converted to Islam, uh, he allowed to inherit the property of his father. Influence of outsider. I just put it in the psychological repercussion, because British suffered serious loss in the first Afghan war 1838 to 1842, Punjab war, and the Crimean war. So they demoralized that their army were the worst. So and so they want to do something extraordinary things. Now discontent among the sepoys. Restriction on wearing caste and sectarian remark. It means that if a Hindu is wearing a pagdi and a Muslim is wearing a topi, then then they were not allowed to do practice their own religious works, just like they cannot wear topi or they cannot put a tilak on their forehead. General Service Enlistment Act 1857, uh, which was passed under the Lord Canning. What it say that decreed that all the future recruits to the Bengal army would have to give an undertaking to serve anywhere their service might be required by the government, not given foreign service allowance when serving in Sindh or in Punjab. It means that the new recruitment in the Punjab in the Bengal service uh, has had to serve anywhere without giving them any allowance. uh, and in India, crossing sea means it's a danger to the religion. Thank you, friends.